good right now. I said to my wife this afternoon, it's like going to Game 7. You got a press conference post game. It's like, are you going in to talk about the summer, or are you going in to talk about the next round? So it's a great feeling. It's been a long time coming, and with the history of the franchise, it's been a few years since we've been able to get to the conference final. So it's real exciting times.
What was your view of the goal?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I thought we were making a pretty good push there that last 2-3 minutes. And we talked about some things in the intermission. We weren't getting enough pucks through and not shooting the puck enough. And we wanted to get the puck east-west as much as we could and go low to high. But once we went low east-west there with Boyder, and I seen there was a little bit of space for him to take it to the net. And just glad he made that motion to go. And, there was some heavy traffic there, too. I mean, they collapsed all series long. And I believe both his line mates crashed there, too. So just seen the light go on and celebration time.
For the whole series, what was the defensive challenge like trying to ward off those guys? It just seemed like when they got going, they could be pretty relentless, and there were some anxious moments, obviously, but throughout the whole series.
Well, I think, they do a very good job of collapsing and protecting the middle of the ice, and we showed a number of clips over the course of the last 2 weeks about, trying to spread them out, either trying to create some offense off the rush through the middle of the ice, which we thought they were vulnerable, or if we were able to have some sustained zone play, we needed to get the puck low to high and spread them out because they did such a great job. I mean, we've paused a number of video clips on how they were just 5 black jerseys, or in their building 5 white jerseys, just surrounding the goalie. And it just was tough to penetrate that area, unlike the Portland series where, that slot open area was open continually. So we just had to be patient. We're a team that wanted to wear teams down in ozone play all season long, and we did a pretty good job of that. I mean, our shooting percentage was, probably the top in the league, considering we finished 29th in shots for. But there's a method to our madness in terms of how we play. But it was very, very difficult to do that against these guys.
You had Sills line and Ness and Lewington matched up with their top line all night long. How major was that in tonight's game?
Well, it was huge. I mean, if you ask me five reasons why we won this series, that's right at the top of the list, because we had a game plan going into tonight, and a game plan every game, but it's not as easy on the road to match. And, there were some guys on our team that didn't get as much ice time tonight because he basically shut the fourth line down there of Bluger and Cicito, early in the third period. So consequently, we had to roll 3 lines, which can get tiring, especially when you think of overtime. But Sills' line, I thought, were dynamite all series long. I mean, the forward check and pressure, and it's funny, before the overtime, we were looking at the chances in the third period. I think we had us at 4 grade A's, and it was all by the one line. So considering they were generating offense for us, and able to shut those guys down. I mean, I think Roney had an assist tonight, but it was on the power play, so that was huge for us.
How did you handle mentally coming off of that Game 6 where they thumped you pretty well? Going to this one, you knew it was going to go 7. They didn't win anything, but still.
Well, I think from our perspective, it's probably better to lose by 2 or 3 or 4, quite frankly. I mean, you go in there and you're up 3-2 and you go into overtime. What happens when you lose in overtime as a coaching staff, then you start going, well, what if we would have done this? Or maybe if we would have had this player out there, or geez, that we just missed that chance. Where at least if you get, not that you want to get thumped, but if you lose by 2 or more goals, it's like, hey, we lost, and let's move on. And that Game 6 was lost over a 9-minute period, really, because I felt that if we could even get out of that period 3-0, there's a lot of 3-0 comebacks, and we've done it ourselves. But to answer your question, I don't think it mattered. I think it was just better to lose that way, quite frankly.
You don't know who you're going to play next, but you do know the first 2 games, because of the building availability, will be here. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, actually, if Albany pulls it off and play, we would start on the road in a 1. I think it's a 1-3, a 1-2. It's kind of messed up, to be honest with you. But if Albany somehow gets that win tomorrow night, then we'd start there Wednesday night, and then back here for the weekend. Where if you're right, if it's Toronto, then we'd start Friday, Saturday. So it's a little bit different, just with the building. We got the circus. Albany's doesn't have their building for 6 days. So for us tonight, it's just let's enjoy getting to the conference final, and as a coaching staff, maybe we can take Monday off now because we don't know who we're playing, because normally we're coming in here and starting to really ramp it up and prepare for the next opponent, which we don't know right now.
All series long, it seemed like Boyd's line was struggling to get points. How major is it for him to get this goal going into the next series?
Well, he's been a huge part of our team, and playoffs is tough, and we've seen that a lot with a lot of our young players over the course of the last 12 games. I felt Camper has actually been dynamite all playoffs long, and he had a great series there. So at the end of the second, that just with under 2 minutes left, I felt Camper was playing well, and I put he was coming out with Borky and Mitchie, and I was just going to do a flip-flop, and what happened in the third period and overtime, just because of them going with three lines, I kind of mixed and matched a lot there, and I'm trying to get Boyder out there as much as I could, but I think it's hopefully good for his confidence. It's we're not real strong, or not strong, but we lack some depth up the middle, obviously, with Walker playing out of position, and he's done a fabulous job, but hopefully Stevenson can get back here as quick as we can and get back to some four natural centers and then make some decisions.
You had mentioned the 3 minutes in that overtime period where your offense was buzzing a little bit more. What do you think the difference was between that and then considering you only had 9 shots in the final 2 periods of regulation?
Well, like I said before, we finished 29th in the league in shots for this year, so the shots on goal total weren't really a concern for me. For us, it's more about ozone time and controlling the puck. So we did make pushes in that third period and even in the second period where we had the puck in their end, but the shot clock doesn't indicate that. And they did a good job of protecting the middle of the ice, but you can shoot the puck. If they're going to block it, that means it's going the other way. So it's a change of possession, which basically means you're defending again. So, but they did make some pushes there early in the overtime, and I thought we did a great job of protecting the middle of the ice. And it's like anything, any hockey game, you got to control the momentum swings, and they had some momentum early. I thought we weathered their storm by doing a good job defensively, and then we made our push, and we were able to get to the goal, and it would have changed. If we wouldn't have scored there, they would have made another push, and then it's just a back and forth, and we talk to the guys all the time about protecting the middle of the ice and controlling the momentum swings when teams make their push.
What was it like? What was the call on Stanton for the 10 minutes, and what was it like trying to manage the last 10 minutes of the third period without him?
Well, they said he intentionally threw the stick over the glass, so instead of giving him a 2-minute unsportsmanlike, they gave him a 10-minute misconduct, so it didn't affect the game 5-on-5. From our perspective, you're losing one of your best defensemen for the final, basically the rest of the game. And I just made that comment. We talked about it here a few minutes ago that our 5D, 3 rookies, really stepped up in those final 10 minutes there to allow us to get to Stanton in overtime.
With so much inexperience from these rookies going into a playoff series like this, how major is this series for them experience-wise going into a conference finals?
Well, I think it's huge. When you start thinking of all the young guys and just the defense alone, it's very. You can win hockey games with rookie forwards, but it was very difficult, to think about going into playoffs and going with 3 rookies. But our vet situation played out, and Lewington had a great stretch drive, and it's a valuable experience for these guys. And as I said to them, you're 8 wins away from the Calder Cup, and you're in the Final Four, and you got to savor their moment right now and really be proud of what we've accomplished. But at the same time, there's a lot of work to do, and they should feel confident going into the next round, and hopefully that makes them feel good about their game where we can maybe get, for example, some production out of those young forwards that we really haven't seen a lot of here over the last 2 rounds.
Troy, with about 30 seconds to go in the third, it looked like the game was on 44 stick for them. Was your heart in your throat a little bit there? Because he looked like he had an open net and he just shot it a little bit wide.
Yeah, no. Anytime you're getting down to that end, under a minute to play, and the puck's in your end, you're always nervous. And Roney was able to make a cutback on Sill and walk out, and it just went off the end of his stick. And I don't know maybe if Bergie got his stick on it or Petey got his stick on it, but it was certainly very, very close. Yeah, it's tough sledding on the coaching side of it when the puck with 30 seconds left is not in the offensive zone.
This rivalry between these 2 teams, I don't think has ever been more intense. How major is it going forward into next year? I know next year's a long way away, but having this rivalry kind of been renewed.
Well, I think that just each team this year won 6 games. The 7-game series in the playoffs, overtime. I was given a stat the other day that the team that in the last 18 games, and I guess maybe tonight, maybe 19, and this was told to me that the last, 19, the team that scored the first goal has won the hockey game. And even in the playoff history now, we're up 4-3. So, and you think about the Calder Cup year, where they went 7 here. I mean, it was 3-0, wasn't overtime. So it's a great rivalry, and it's, you really hate those guys, to be honest with you. On the ice, it's just one of those rivalries where you want to beat them so bad. And it was some good hockey and some rough stuff too. It was nasty out there. Okay, thanks. We'll see you next week.